Tom had bought the ship for scrap value, a rust-streaked hulk called the Varan Dawn sitting in a salvage yard on the edge of Kepler Station. The listing had said, no crew, no cargo, some interior damage. It had not mentioned the three enormous women currently blocking his path to the cockpit. Okay, Tom said, taking a step back. I did not pay for this. The tallest of the three, easily 7 feet of muscle and pale blue skin, folded her arms and looked down at him the way someone might look at a stray cat that had wandered into their kitchen. You did, she said. You bought the Varan Dawn. We are the Varan Dawn. Therefore you bought us. That is not how ownership works. It is where we're from. The second woman, shorter but somehow more intimidating, with silver markings running down her arms like circuitry, leaned against the bulkhead. Kale is technically correct. Ships of our make are bonded to their crew. You cannot separate us from the hull any more than you could separate your heart from your body. Right. Well, I'm going to need my heart to still be my heart, so. The third woman, quieter than the other two, stepped forward. She had a softer face, dark eyes, and she was studying Tom with an expression that made him distinctly uncomfortable, like he was a puzzle she'd already half solved. You're frightened, she said. You don't need to be. We've been waiting a long time for someone to buy this ship. Waiting for what, exactly? A husband, said Kale, as though this were obvious. Tom sat down on a crate. This seemed like a conversation better had sitting down. Lily found him 20 minutes later, still sitting on the crate, staring at nothing. Lily was human, 5'4", and had been Tom's closest friend since they were both mechanics apprentices on Kepler Station a decade ago. She'd talked him into buying the ship in the first place, said it had good bones, said it would be a fun project, said absolutely nothing about it coming with 3 towering alien women who apparently considered him their fiancé. You're pale, Lily said, crouching in front of him. What happened? The ship has occupants. I saw. They're very tall. They think I'm going to marry them. Lily blinked. All three. All three. She sat down next to him on the crate, and for a moment neither of them said anything. Then Lily started laughing, the kind of laugh that came from deep in her chest, and didn't stop for a while. It's not funny, Tom said. It's extremely funny. You bought a haunted ship and it's haunted by wives. They're not ghosts, Lily. They're real, and they're built like they could bench press this crate with me still sitting on it. So what are you going to do? Tom looked toward the corridor where the 3 women had disappeared, presumably to discuss wedding logistics or whatever alien brides discussed. I don't know. Explain that human marriage doesn't work by finders keepers rules, I guess. Good luck with that. It didn't go well. Kale, the tall one, listened to Tom's entire explanation of human customs, courtship, and the general concept of consent with the patient expression of someone waiting for a child to finish an obviously wrong answer to a math problem. We understand consent, she said, once he'd finished. That is why we are telling you, not simply proceeding. That's not. Telling me isn't the same as asking me. On Varan, a declaration is a form of asking. We are declaring our intent. You may decline, but you should know what you would be declining. The silver-marked one, her name, Tom had learned, was Dessa, pulled up a holographic display showing what looked like a star chart marked with dozens of small red flags. Our people are dying, she said, without preamble. Our world is failing. 300 years ago, our ancestors built ships like this one and sent them out, seeded with our genetic material, waiting for compatible partners among the species we'd one day meet. Not for conquest, for continuation. So this is, you're saying you were built to find a husband. Like, engineered for it. We were engineered to survive, Dessa said. Marriage was our people's answer to survival. A joining of bloodlines, a joining of strength. It is not romance as your species understands it. It is architecture. The quiet one, whose name was Sail, spoke up from where she stood by the viewport, watching the stars. But it can become romance, she said. It has before. Compatibility isn't just genetic. We would not force ourselves on someone who felt nothing for us at all. We are not monsters. Tom rubbed his face. This is a lot. It is, Sail agreed. Take the time you need. He took 3 days. In that time, he learned that Kale could outlift the ship's cargo loader by hand, that Dessa could rewire half the ship's failing systems faster than Tom could diagnose them, and that Sail, despite her quiet manner, had memorized every star chart from a dozen dead civilizations and could navigate by them without instruments. He learned that they didn't eat much, that they slept standing occasionally out of some old habit from their homeworld, and that they argued with each other constantly, but never against him. He also learned, somewhat to his own surprise, that he liked having them around. It was Lily who pointed it out, the fourth night, over instant noodles in the ship's cramped galley while Kale repaired a coolant line in the next room, humming something low and resonant that vibrated through the walls. "You haven't complained about them in 2 days," Lily said. "I've complained plenty. You've complained about the marriage thing, not about them." Tom opened his mouth to argue, then closed it again, because she wasn't wrong, and Lily had never let him get away with lying to himself. "They're not what I expected," he admitted. "I thought I bought a broken ship. Turns out I don't know, a family that comes with really intense expectations. So what are you going to tell them?" He didn't answer right away. Down the corridor, the humming stopped, and Kale's voice called out that the coolant line was fixed, and could someone come look at the reactor while she was at it. Dessa answered from somewhere further off, and Sale, passing the galley doorway, paused just long enough to glance in at him with that same unreadable, patient expression she'd worn since the beginning. Not pressure, not demand, just quiet waiting. Tom stood up. "I'm going to tell them," he said, "that architecture takes time to build properly, and that I'm not going anywhere while it does." Lily smiled into her noodles. "That's the least terrified I've heard you sound all week. Don't get used to it." "Oh, I don't know," she said, as he headed for the corridor. "Something tells me this ship is about to get a lot less boring." Behind him, the Varen Dawn hummed on, alive with the sound of 3 women who had waited 300 years for exactly this moment. Not a declaration answered with fear, but one answered with the beginning of something neither side had a word for yet, in either language. It was a start. And for a man who'd bought a spaceship expecting nothing but rust and regret, a start was more than enough.